The 26th Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit, also referred to as the MEU, abruptly ended pre-scheduled training in Kuwait last week and is en route to the waters off of Israel.
The unit can operate a range of military operations, and today we're diving deeper into their arsenal. You hear things like MEU, and now we're going to break down a little bit for you what that means. First of all, Joey, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, how many of them does the U.S. have? How long do they train? How long are they out?
They're in rotational cycles. So we have several on the East Coast, several on the West Coast, one that's permanently in Okinawa, and they go out onto their deployment depending on training schedule and really things like this. You're doing an 18-month workup for what should be a 6-month deployment. I don't know their full schedule. There's always a MEU in training and always a MEU out in the water.
So 18 to 24 months of training to be out on a boat for 6 months effectively is a floating emergency response unit full of 2,000 Marines.
And to set the stage, this is actually what the Marine Corps is supposed to do and does best. The Marine Corps has a promise to the President of the United States. Within 72 hours, anywhere in the world, we will wage war and take the fight to our enemies. Now, we may not be able to hold ground. That's what the Army's for. They have more of like a 30-day window. Bring in the big stuff, build buildings, make outposts, things like that. The Marine Corps, lightweight, maneuverable, go in, cause havoc, let the Army come in and hold the ground. That's kind of the traditional role of the Marine Corps. And until 2005, when MARSOC came to be, when you thought Marine Special Forces, this is kind of how you would implement Marine Special Forces.
So you say, light infantry, but when we break this down, there's a lot of big equipment that these Marines bring around. First of all, in 4 slides, we'll break out what is on a MEU. First, you've got the command element, Joey. You're going to have about 150 officers telling everybody what to do.
That's right. The Marine Corps prides itself on small unit leadership. You got 169 people wearing shiny things on their collar, but don't make a mistake about it. It's the sergeants and the corporals going to take the teams to combat. A couple of lieutenants, too.
Yeah, we just tell them what to do.
Yeah.
All right, next slide is the actual ground element, Joey. That's 1,200 sailors and Marines.
Yeah, so when we talk about this, we're going to talk about capabilities. This is to get on the ground. But what makes the Marine Corps completely different from the Halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli or Fighter Nations battle on land, on air, and sea? They have the ability to do an amphibious assault. That means they can go from the ship onto a beach like that. They have the capabilities and the vehicles for it. They also can do it through the air. Obviously, they can do an insertion through helicopters. We'll talk about what some of these actual vehicles are, but the idea is they can go through the air, through the ocean, and get on land and go in and do their mission.
Go in and take somebody on. You can reinforce someone and provide additional defensive capabilities. Stability operations are longer term, which they could end up being involved in.
Small unit. The word is we can hurt you or we can help you, and we can do both really well. Next slide.
I like it. Next slide is the aviation assets. Over 400 Marines and sailors that fly some really high-tech equipment.
I know you've watched Top Gun, but some of the best fighter pilots in the military are Marines. We have our own fighting aircraft. In a MEU, you have various types of aircraft. Some of it's changed as of late. We have what's called the Harrier. It's a fighter jet, basically, that can come up and down vertically. We now have the Osprey that can do that and haul troops. So you have a lot of capabilities included in this MAGTF or MEU that can bring troops and firepower into the battlefield. Keep going.
All right, we're going to move to the next slide, which is logistics. Logistics are very, very important, but we're going to move through it quickly because I want to get to all the capabilities that on one slide that exist on a MEU.
What this really means is they're self-sustainable. They can feed themselves, take care of themselves, and pack up their wounds themselves. Keep going.
All right, next slide is the entirety of all of the combat power. And when you look at this, you say, I mean, we're talking 4 main battle tanks.
Well, on that, Pete, they've taken tanks out of it now. This is a change that happened this year.
That's why we have the expert.
This is about the lightweight maneuverability of the Marine Corps, and the rest of those vehicles kind of talk to that.
I mean, you've got over 100 Humvees. You've got light armored vehicles.
Those are like side-by-sides with armor on them.
Absolutely. And then you talked about this being a power projection platform in the air as well.
Absolutely. This Osprey is the plane that you've seen videos of that looks like an airplane with propellers. All of a sudden, the propellers go up and they land like a helicopter. They can haul a lot of troops on an Osprey. And the Super Stallion, the CH-53, if it ain't leaking, it ain't working. It's a battle tank in the air, and it can take our guys wherever they need to be. Hueys to get them out if something goes wrong. And then you have other aircraft, a lot of rotary aircraft. All of this is about getting people in and getting people out. One of the main missions of a MEU would be hostage rescue. If a fighter pilot has to eject and it goes down behind enemy lines, that type of surgical, go in, take care of business, and get back out mission. We bring it over
And
here
we got
to
the Marine
logistics
subject matter
combat.
expert. You said the ability to sustain yourself is huge.
That's it right here. We've got wreckers, we've got bulldozers, forklifts. If we have to sustain and hold an area, we can do it. But there aren't 10,000 troops. There's 2,000 troops that are doing the combat and the rest of this stuff. The Marine Corps is the smallest service in the military. It has the most different jobs because we are so malleable, and this is how you highlight that. Lastly, just to kind of wrap this up, I do want to say this. They are special operations certified. They can go in and get hostages, things like that. If we end up with SEALs, Delta Force, things like that, they already are trained to work with them to be their guardian angels, their infill, their exfil, whatever the president decides to do here. This is the military capabilities you need to do it without engaging us in a long, sustained, high troop count ground war.
All of this brought to you by 3 ships, is my understanding?
I know for a fact there are 3 ships in this MEU as published before it took off. I don't know if other ships have joined, but 3 to 5 ships at most.
3 to 5 ships, all of that equipment, all of that firepower, if used properly, should be the type of deterrent that makes, I don't know, someone like Iran say, we're going to think twice about broadening this. Let's hope so.
We talk about the tip of the spear in special operations. This effort right here is what makes the American military different.
No doubt.